Welcome to the podcast by Zeitgeist Studio. I am Digant Singh, and you have tuned into the special episodes recorded during the IIIT Dharwad Conclave 2024, sponsored by BIS and Fuel Business School. We at Zeitgeist strive to bring conversations to you that become the guiding light in your lives. We hope that you take something fruitful from all these conversations and apply them in your daily life. To talk about industry and academia relations, we have with ourselves on the show Dr. Shirkantha Sharma sir, Director at Hindustan Aeronautical Limited, and a recurring guest on our podcast, Professor SRM Prasanna sir, the Director of IIIT Dharwad. The conversation revolves around how industry and academic bonds must be strengthened and how collaboration makes the effort to grow unidirectional. Dr. Shirkantha sir has had an extraordinary career where he has led his team to success multiple times. His love for academics and industry makes him the perfect person for our director sir to get into a conversation with. This is for all of those who are not sure whether to pursue industry or academia. I hope this conversation is very fruitful for all of our listeners. Welcome, sir. Welcome to the podcast. Welcome, Prasanna, sir. Today, I'm just going to be a moderator for this. I'm really interested in, it's such an honor to get two leaders from industry and academia. And what I really want to know is how do we bridge the gap between industry and academia in such a way that moving forward it helps the nation and it benefits humankind as well. So, thank you for coming on the podcast, sir.
Thank you.
Sir, I would like to start with you. What do you feel is the difference, the key difference that you feel between academia and industry, given that across your career you have been, immersing yourself in academia time and time again. So, what do you feel has changed across the years and the salient difference between industry and academia as such?
There are a few significant differences between the academia and the industry in terms of the purpose, objective, and the processes, which we should be very clear about. The purpose of an academia is to engage in science and engineering. The purpose of an industry is to take from engineering into technology and then products. So the outcome of an academia will be the human resources in terms of students, capable human resources. There will be research, there will be projects. The outcome of a industry, by contrast, is products which are required, which can generate value to the society and through which wealth can be generated. Generation of wealth is the ultimate aim of a industry.
Yes.
Now, how do we convert the science and engineering that the academy offers as an output into useful input for the industry? That is where I feel is the bridge between industry and academia that we need to have, that seamless one.
Correct. So, I think sir cautioned in terms of, we need to maintain the individual identity meant for each sector. So as sir mentioned, what is the scope or ambit under which academia operates and the ambit under which industry operates. Now what happened is the post-digital era and computerization, digitalization, with this and all the more with artificial intelligence and other trends, the real engineering feeling of working, making hands dirty and building systems as a part of their laboratory experience has vanished. So that is where, suppose as an engineer, whichever specialization he or she should be able to build systems. So for that, since we are missing that rigorous laboratory training, to some extent I see that is happening in hackathons.
Yes.
When you see 34,
Yes.
48 hours you work. So that is the rigor at which we get the training into the laboratory course. See, that part is missing. There is a need for collaborating with industry to get hold on to what we call live projects.
Yes. Yes.
Otherwise, with this digital space, no, I have some canned data set and I'll run some system on that and get 99.99% results. But that doesn't give a confidence and also resilience in learning. So that is where identity we have to maintain, because we should know what is our charter of activity. I cannot become industry just like that.
Yes.
Sir
Yes.
cannot, industry cannot become an academy, because our charters are different. But at the same time, there is a need for overlapping.
Sir,
Yes.
you used the word getting the hands dirty. I believe that is the key. For instance, when engineers come into the industry, I tell them first 1 or 2 years, you have to get your hands dirty. Whether you are a mechanical engineer on the lathe, whether you're a computer engineer, you have to actually do the coding, the programming, and go ahead with that. You have to get the hands dirty. Similarly, a student in an academic institute, before he passes out of the academic institute, he should have dirtied his hand on live industry projects. Then he knows what it is. That is how we'll be able to bridge the spasm.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's very important.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Especially when we see a field of data science.
Hmm.
At least, no, to my mind, we may not be giving the exposure for our students what is really expected for a data scientist.
Yes.
So unless I have a billion data points to process on a live project, which is 24/7, 365, it is getting collected. How to process that and derive the inference? I'm handling such data. Whatever imagination you do, it cannot happen on canned projects unless you go with a live project.
Yes,
So
sir.
that is where the need is.
Sir, what happens in a canned project? The data is cleaned and given to you on a platter on which you have to understand. But in an industry, you don't get clean data.
Correct.
You get data, you get noise, you get multiple variables. You need to see which is the data that I need to take and work upon. There, actually, the ingenuity will come into filtering the noise from the signal and making a meaning out of it. There, I think there's a good value add that can be done. Yeah.
So, I mean, IDRP, I mean, that is the vision that the hackathon had, that we get industrial problems and we solve them, like get the students to solve them. And that way, that hackathon brings value, actual value to the companies involved and the students involved. And I mean, given all this and IDRP having started, what is your vision with IDRP?
So, see, when we go to this research park, the best model we have in our country is the IIT Madras Research Park. They have done a wonderful job. One scope is in terms of incubating new companies. Second thing is bringing established companies to set up their R&D centers in the research park, where engineers or scientists from that organization plus the engineers or professors from the institute as well as students, all three communities sit together and try to solve a problem.
Yes.
So that's a wonderful idea. That is where, apart from incubation, we are also thinking of industrial research center. Maybe in an IT thing, industrial center, maybe, it is maybe a very small place because you don't have a huge equipment. It is more in terms of cloud.
Yes.
But there is a dedicated place we sit and discuss about a problem state to work on. That is another vertical we are thinking. The third one is the prototype development. So prototype development, for example, when I take an academic project, which starts from TRL 1, technology readiness 1, up to 3 or 4 we go. But industry wants minimum 7 or 8. So that is where we want to bridge that gap. Somebody, professor says, no, I am done with my project, TRL 4. Now a prototype center will take over. Take it up to level 7,
yes,
jointly with an industry, and then give it them to the industry. That prototype development center also we are working, where we get the live project from industry. There, we want to develop these, show them. Maybe a faculty team will work from TRL 1 to 4 and 4 to 5 or 6, 7. Some other team will work in the prototype.
So basically, there's an abstraction.
Yes.
To some extent, the students will come in.
Yes.
After that, the industry takes over, and the work done by the students is actually fruitful.
Correct.
If you look at the TRL scale, sir, while the academia focuses on TRL 1 to 3, the industry is not ready to take on a technology which is at TRL 3. It is too immature for it to be converted into a product.
Correct.
So we are looking at TRL 8.
Yes, correct.
So how are we going to bridge the gap between TRL 4 and 8? That is where some of these concepts like incubation centers, having internships, having the faculty doing sabbatical within the industry and trying to work with the industry, or having some of the officers working in the industry coming on a short duration program within the academia. That is where we need to bridge the gap. If we try to look at what happens in most successful economies across the world, there's a seamless transition between academia and industry. There is a close connect and seamless transition. Many of the universities, prestigious universities, earn their prestige because their students work on live data, live issues, live projects, which the industry gives it to the academia, from which they will get actual dirtying the hands experience. So they are better industry ready from the time they leave the academic institute. So that is what we need to strive to bridge. That gap is what I feel has to be done.
No, that's very important because suppose in Western universities, uh, by the way, those projects are not no very difficult, but they sit in an academic setup. Both industry and academia sit together and they work on that problem set. But here we have a lot of silos that are there in Indian academia. So we have sanitized it too much, and now we have built a lot of boundary walls between academia and industry. That we need to work on. So again, just to summarize the conversation till this point, we will maintain our verticals, but there are bridges that we have to build. So that is, see, for me, my faculty has to be continuously a lead learner.
Yes.
He cannot just do a rote learning of one book and then go and teach it. No student will be interested because things are changing so fast. Want to make it to really add value, he or she should be a lead learner. Second thing is our students. They are going to be the products. How they are, they will be able to confidently face and take on leadership positions in the industries.
Yes.
That is where this live project is the way to go.
I think, as you told, we are working in silos. When you use the word silos, I remember Where the Mind is Without Fear, Rabindranath Tagore. He told at that point in time, where the world has not been broken up into fragments by narrow domestic walls. We have artificially created domestic walls. This has to be done by academia, this has to be done by industry, and we now need to build the bridge. As you rightly told, the faculty will have to work in the industry and learn. And I tell my managers, remember that you are an engineer first and then a manager. You have to be a lifelong student.
Correct.
So you will have to try out new things, or else if you keep doing this same old thing, you will not get new results. And without new results, industry cannot prosper. So that is, I think, what we will need to do.
So, sir, we were talking before the podcast that sir had taken sabbaticals across his career to get back to the academia and learn. Similar things can be done for people who are in academia and they go out and they demonstrate the things that they have done or some new technology that they have worked on and make products. And so basically this
Absolutely.
bridge is from both ends.
The student and the faculty have to be a continuous learner. For instance, sir, I am a mechanical engineer. But when I went into the aerospace domain, first I took up a post-graduation course in aeronautics from IIT Madras before I went into the postgraduate, to the industry. And then as you grow up in industry, you go into manage real requirements. That requires a different set of capabilities. Then you will need to again learn newer capabilities. So I went to the IIM to get a management degree, so that I'll be able to do better. And at one point in time, then when I decided that I'll go into academia, you cannot go into the academia without a research mindset. So a person should have that continuous learning over a period of time, whether it is a faculty or whether it is a scientist in an organization. So that continuous growth mindset, the growth mindset. I saw one of the things I think Narayan Murthy has told in the board which I saw over there. He has told, you should develop, it is not just developing minds, you have to develop mindset. It is that growth mindset that we will need to develop and imbibe among our students of continuous learning.
Yes, sir.
So, I think what sir mentioned, make very important message here. It is not difficult. That see, in earlier era when we started our career, somebody comes into an academia, he or she master in one or two subjects area, they can make their life till retirement. But those days have gone, completely gone. This year continuously should be learning new things. It is not difficult.
Yes.
That mindset we should keep.
Yes.
So I'm a lifelong learner. Then things will start taking shape. So that's where, and especially I know faculty colleagues is very difficult if they don't make bridges with industry to understand what is happening there. It is not difficult, but no, you don't visit industry and understand what is the problem statements happening. How do you you imagine something and teach in the class? It doesn't make sense.
Yes.
That is where this bridging batch, they should be very, for example, Western University is there. Oh, he was a leader in some big MNC. Next day he comes as a professor in the department.
Yes.
In India, still that thing is not there.
Yes.
So
Sir.
that is where we need to go to that level.
So there are business universities which make cold calls to managers,
Correct.
and they come and they explain business cases.
Yeah.
And that is a live business case.
Correct.
I do send my officers to various
Yes.
universities for short duration and long duration courses. The faculty who teach in those universities are actually professionals who are working in the industry.
Yes.
They come out over there, handle the session or two, and get back to the industry. With the result, the live situation in the industry is brought for discussion within the domain of the classroom, and learning happens when we actually discuss and deliberate upon live issues, whether it is technology, whether it is management. For instance, today we speak about AI and where AI can be used.
Yes.
A faculty will be able to explain AI and its application better if he has seen the industry and see what are the applications where it can be used.
Yes.
So that is where I feel what you told of building the bridges. And I was interested in another thing that you used, deep listening, learning, and co-creating. Those were the three mantras of Triple IT Dharwad you used. Deep listening is utmost important. Keeping our eyes and ears open to what is happening around the world. Instead of keeping our ears closed and only talking, he will not become a good faculty. A good faculty is the one who has his eyes and ears open. Then we can co-create new possibilities. That is where we have got that required talent pool within us. We have got the opportunities within us. The industry is rising. We have got the best human resource potential. We need to bring that human resource potential and the developing industry together. Then there is no reason why India 2047 will not be number one. Not number three is not what we need to aspire. We need to be the number one. That is what I believe.
Even sir, for example, now when I say that word co-creation, my experience in the last 6 months, suppose I create some content, I take help from my students, they create a much better version than what I was imagining. So that is what is co-creation. It is not that no, what you are doing is not right, you do like this only. So because the generation is like that, there is no we can. That's what he was one of the management leader, when I was discussing, he told, more than your colleagues, your students will create a better content. He told. You work with them, they'll create a better content. But that is how the generation is. So that is where we should not allow our Gen Z to struggle for some work after degree. They should be seamlessly integrated such as that they should decide how to move forward. That's why we should do.
Sir, you told the student, if he is given an opportunity, will do much better than what we may say. I have got a live example, sir. One of your students who is there with me now, Krishna Panchajanya, I think he came out of the 2023 batch and he is now working in my company. I told him that you generate one e-learning module so that on the go anybody can learn anything about aviation technology. I have got around 3 terabytes worth of knowledge, but accessing it is difficult. You develop something. And I told that the ability to take it further. And when he brought it in another 3 weeks, he brought out the project. It was much more than what I expected. He gave the micro learning, learning on the go, learning on the mobile, things that I had not envisaged. I had envisaged the traditional setup. So the youngsters will be able to take on, if you give a seed, they'll be able to groom it much better than what we need. We need to give them the environment, the flexibility, and the mentality of taking risks.
Yes.
I think that is important.
So that mentality is being set up in the academia
Hmm.
to be used in industry.
Yes.
Correct.
And I have seen, no, they are ready to take the risk now. This generation, I have seen.
Yes,
They-
sir.
Only thing is, we should not distract their energy. That no, this gap is there. Why gap is creating between industry academia? Because we are not exposing them enough into live requirements.
Correct.
See, industry doesn't have that luxury of training them for 1 or 2 years. That's where, while studying itself, you have exposure. From day one, you can be better
Yes.
utilize it yourself. So that is where.
And sir, I feel that the foreign countries, some of them have a better culture. Do you feel that India can replicate some of this?
I believe that India had a strong enough culture. But somehow down the line, we have been creating the silos. For instance, friend, a graduate, an engineering student, he completes his engineering. Why does he say that I would like to go abroad for studies rather than continue, even though our IITs and triple IITs, IIMs are far much superior in academic content? Why does he want to go over there? He says that no, I get a good career opportunity. I get some good job. Why does he get a good job? Because when he is doing his post graduation, he is working on live projects. He is actually interning in during his course of his curriculum, and the industry with which he is interning absorbs him. So that is the model. It is very easy to replicate the model over here, as long as we have the industry giving live projects
Yes.
which the students can take up, and it will be a win-win situation for both of us. It is not much difficult. Many of the premier institutes, the IITs, the triple IITs, IIMs are already in that
Yes.
direction. First 2 semesters, the academic foundation is taught, and in third semester, we are going for deep internship. And I'm sure a day will come when it is not that our bright talent will be going abroad. It will be people from outside countries who will be telling that I want to do my graduation in this institute of eminence, because we are able to give that academic rigidity regimen that is lacking in some of the other universities outside, sir.
Yes. And so I think we at Triple IT are constantly moving towards it. I mean, the elective courses and the
Minor.
minor degree. I mean, so I mean, we would love for you to. What's your vision behind that?
See, mainly what wanted to envisaged was, see, when you have some fixed set of courses, for my degree requirement is okay, but suppose with so much technology trends changing happening, so different students have different interests.
Yes.
So why can't you create enough opportunities for them? I don't want to force every student to take only that set of course. Whatever minimum requirement is there for degree, let them do. But beyond this, let them take their passion and move forward.
Yes.
Then I am creating now with one input, I am creating multiple possibilities.
Yes.
And
yes.
they utilize their energy in a positive way. They should not feel that no, why should I study this?
Yes.
And even
yes.
in course registration also and course leaving also, we have made it so simple.
Hmm.
Drop one email, I'm dropping, okay, fine.
Yes.
You want to join? Come, join. As long as, whenever you feel like interesting, you learn.
That is one of the advantages of such standalone institutes
Yes,
of excellence.
Yes.
definitely.
Autonomous.
That
is-
autonomous,
Correct.
the board of studies has got the autonomy to decide what a student can take and what a student cannot take, unlike other regimental universities. So you will be able to modify, and in your board of studies, you have a few people from the industry, so that they will be able to give the inputs of what the industry needs now or needs 5 years from thereupon. Then probably those are the types of solutions that we need to work, so that the student who is coming out from the institute is directly employable and
Yes.
contributes to the growth of the industry and growth of the country
Yes,
thereby.
Correct.
I believe that was the idea behind setting up triple ITs.
Correct. Correct.
That we are at the cutting edge with industry.
Industry with
Yeah.
industry. That is
Yes.
underlying statement.
Yes,
we have
sir.
to be
Correct, correct.
remembering that we should not just go and mimic something which is, because this mandate itself is underlying industry interaction.
Yes,
Without
sir.
that you can't.
So, sir,
No.
moving forward, I mean, we have discussed that there are, there's a way that we move forward. But what are the hurdles that you might think we might run into?
I believe the hurdle is only in the mindset,
Hmm.
because as an institute of eminence, the institute is not governed by any policy rules and archaic rules and
Correct.
regulations. As an industry, the industry is ready to accept anything which creates wealth for the society.
Yes.
If at all there is anything, there is the hurdles within the mindset. We need to take the first step forward. We need to take the risks. Without risk, there is no
Reward.
success.
Yes.
Reward without
Yes.
risk. So I think there is nothing which stops us
Correct.
from going forward and going front.
Yes.
It is just the mindset change that we need to develop within the ecosystem.
Yes.
It cannot happen by just two leaders thinking and telling that yes, it is going to be done. It has to be done down the rank and file. The faculty and students from that side, from my scientists and engineers and managers from our side, there should be a mindset change that we need to work together. We need to work
Yes.
seamlessly, and that is possible.
That is very much possible. So
Yes.
one, as sir mentioned, one very good thing is institutes like triple ITs have their own senate. They have complete flexibility to design what they have to do it, and the flexibility is so good. That is where we should, first thing we should change our mindset. Once we change our mindset, everything is, the opportunities are there. Nobody asks us. As long as you're maintaining quality, you're looking at what is required, the need of the hour in the industry, you prepare courses and offer it. So that
Yes.
is where we want to. So in the same way, see, the other thing I have seen, when I discuss with my academic colleagues, they may be an expert in one area. They will say, oh, if the industry gives me the problem like this, then I'll work. Otherwise, I'll not work. See, you have to first listen to them, because then only you get you can take the benefit of their experience. Day in and day out, they are looking for that project. They know where is the pressing issue. If you get a solution here, see, it is useful for us. Through that, you can carve out a very good academic exercise. That handshake should happen. It will not happen in one go when we sit. We should sit together and see with an open mind, with the deep listening we have to do. Then
Yes.
things will start.
What we need today is not specialists. What we need today is generalists. I don't want a specialist in AI and he comes and tells, I am an AI specialist, do you have any problem? It should not be from what I know where I can use. We should more look at what is required, and for that, what is it that I need to evolve. Intersectional learning, intersectional expertise, whether it is in the industry, sir, or whether it is in academia, it is the intersectional learning. In my industry, for instance, I consciously teach electronics and computer science to my mechanical engineering students and mechanical engineering to the electronics people, because an aircraft, after all, is not built by electronic people one day and the mechanical engineer. It is an intersection.
coming
They
together.
speak to each other.
Yes.
So that mindset of intersectional learning, trying to understand what the customer wants and then working forward, breaking the silos of the mind.
Yes,
That
sir.
I believe is the key, sir.
So, I mean, specialists, the problem with that is, if all I have is a hammer, everything looks like a nail.
I'll be trying to look at which nail shall I
Yes.
hit upon.
Yes, sir.
Whereas what it requires is a screwing, but not a
Yes.
hitting.
Yes.
True.
So, sir, like, this will be the last question. What advice would you like to give to the students who are currently in academia, and what should they do to get exactly into the industry?
I think, as I told you, mindset change. And when I talk of mindset change, what I look at is hard work, consistency, commitment, and perseverance. These are the four things which distinguishes an average student from an above average student, because
Yes.
today knowledge is available for everybody. Everybody is in the same benchmark. What distinguishes a successful student from a not so successful student is his commitment, hard work, and perseverance. Because Rome was not built in a day.
Yes.
You cannot expect that I go today and tomorrow I am going to be successful.
Hmm.
You need to keep watering the plant. The plant will blossom when the season comes.
Hmm.
How am I going to keep this effort continuously? And
Yes.
commitment. Knowledge without devotion is meaningless.
Hmm.
Adi Shankara himself told, you need to have both knowledge and devotion together. Just having only knowledge without having the commitment to learn further will be meaningless. So I think I'm an organizational behavior scientist. So I look more at the building the softer aspects of personality along with the core knowledge is
Hmm.
what will take a student high. If you think that I'm a high flyer, I've got a CGP of 9.9, but I don't have these capabilities,
Yes.
I will not be able to succeed in a industry.
Yes, sir.
So I believe that a student, along with his CGPA and grade, should need to develop these attributes which distinguishes, because after all, technology and AI
Hmm.
can do many of the things
Yes.
that your knowledge is able to do today. But technology, AI, ML, and other things cannot replace the human connect, the perseverance, the commitment, the holistic approach, comprehensive understanding of the customer's requirement.
Hmm.
These are some of the things that
Humans do well.
humans do well. It cannot be replaced. That is what the students will have to learn along with the knowledge skills that I have.
Yes.
That I believe is what I can tell from my experience to my aspiring students.
Yes.
So I think Sir has covered most of the points. So being in the midst of students, I see in terms of their capabilities, they are very good. And sometimes I feel, since knowledge is available in public domain,
Yes.
as teachers, whether we are standing in between the students and their knowledge. So because so much knowledge is available in public domain, so
Hmm.
whatever sir mentioned, those points, hard work, perseverance in the field of their interest, that should identify and invest that amount of effort and energy there. And you take this within four walls is more like a mentoring,
Hmm.
and you have so much knowledge in the public domain. So maybe the role of a faculty changing from a very great teacher to a mentor now, because
Yes.
you can always make out for example, world's best university professor whom we dream to listen to him or her one day. Their lectures are available freely on the YouTube.
Yes. Yes,
If
sir.
that is the case, what is that value I will add? So that as a teacher, I also introspect why any student has to come to my class.
Hmm.
It is not because of 75% attendance. Okay.
Yes.
Why anybody should come? He should feel that, nay, when I want to see the
Huh.
12 YouTubes
Yes.
and making note is difficult, let him go and sit into his class. At least he will give me a tailored story.
Yes.
Afterwards, I'll pick the things.
Correct.
So that is where that mentoring role has to happen from. So and also it is this deep tech era, all those things coming into picture. Having a strong foundation in the academics is required. Whatever they are interested, right? We are not everything you should study.
Correct.
Whichever is interested, you should invest time.
Yes, sir. I mean, this is such a valuable thing for all of us as students, as well as industry professionals, people who have just gotten into industry and are, thinking of getting back into academia, learning a few more things,
Correct.
and then getting back at the work. This will be valuable for all of them. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for
Thank you.
joining us.
Thank you, Digan.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you very much.
Grabbing
It was,
Thank you
very
to
well.
all the
I
team.
think it's
Yeah.
taken off in a big way.
Yes, sir.
Broadcast, so very well.
it was very nice interacting with
Yes.
youngsters, interacting with
Yeah.
professionals and academicians. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks for tuning in to the podcast by Zeitgeist Studio. I'm grateful to all of our listeners and thanks for all the support you have shown. If you really like the show, please leave a review on Spotify. Trust me, it really helps. Please leave any recommendations that you have to us on our email ID zeitgeist@iitdwd.ac.in. You can find the links for both in the show notes. We are thankful to the entire team that made the podcast and the conclave possible. It was a mammoth task that was taken by the entire production team and quite easily managed. I would like to thank Iridescence, the photography, videography, and video editing club of IIIT Dharwad. Zeitgeist is the literature, debate, and public speaking club of IIIT Dharwad and is a proud member of the cultural committee. We would also like to thank the administration for its unwavering support for this podcast. Keep listening to the podcast by Zeitgeist Studio, and we'll catch you on the flip side. Thank you.